Part 30. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 291. Wu Yu stopped them and let the ascetic go, which was obviously a violation of the rules of the supreme hunting ground. In fact, the saber-toothed wolf and the devil-eyed wolf can already call the law enforcers to deal with Wu Yu at this time. Under normal circumstances, if it is other prey, such behavior will be directly killed as a warning to others. Of course, because of the relationship between Wu Yu and Zhu Ying, the law enforcers at hunting ground number 6 had to make some considerations if they wanted to kill Wu Yu. But it was obvious that these two demons had no intention of calling in the law enforcers. They were provoked by Wu Yu. Now, they had to do it on their own. Wu Yu had broken the rules first, so even if they joined forces, there would be no problem. This is originally the territory of the devil. As Wu Yu watched with his own eyes, the demonic woman indeed transformed into another demonic wolf, but she looked slightly smaller. However, her pair of deep and sinister eyes made her look older than the saber-toothed wolf next to her. More terrifying. Two monsters, one on the left and one on the right, were running across the quagmire, locking Wu Yu in their sights. It's okay, although there are two of them, it's not a big deal if you can't beat him and run away. Wu Yu was in a calm mood. This time, facing an opponent who was above the 8th level of demon elixir, he became a lot more fanatical. He had been silent in the battle for half a year. The fighting blood in his bones boiled, and the flames burned in his chest. Even the 9-direction demon-suppressing pillar began to tremble in the void as the power of his body condensed. Previously, the saber-toothed wolf was beaten back by Wu Yu with a stick and suffered humiliation. Now it was the most angry and violent time. He raised his head and let out a distant wolf howl at the sky. His eyes turned blood red due to bleeding. Staring at Wu Yu. Buzz. The saber-toothed wolf said nothing. When it charged towards him, countless mud rolled under the force and swept towards Wu Yu, covering the sky and the sun. But the evil eyes were hidden somewhere, and the sinister sneer sounded constantly echoing around. The two monsters fought when they were told, and without any tolerance or generosity, they directly joined forces to deal with Wu Yu. In this way, in the extreme urgency, Wu Yu's long-dormant blood will only surge. His eyes almost turned golden, and the mud he saw suddenly burned and turned into ashes when he got close to Wu Yu. This little guy is so defiant, he must have many treasures in him. This will give us an advantage. The devil's eye seems to be everywhere, her voice can be heard in the sky and on the earth. Roar. But the most popular thing was the beast-like saber-toothed wolf. At this moment, a huge change took place in the saber-toothed wolf. He actually stood up, and his whole body changed drastically. Except for his head, which was still a wolf, his body turned into a wolf. It transformed into a stout human form, but of course, its claws, fangs, hair, etc. are still there. After transforming into this werewolf appearance, Wu Yu clearly felt that the saber-toothed wolf not only had the ferocity of a demon, but also the flexibility of a human form. On top of the physical strength, it had almost increased tremendous strength. The powerful Dan Yuan is obviously much better than Wu Yu. Facing a child, how could you even use your natal magical power? Are you clearly trying to kill this child? Demon Eyes said angrily. Wu Yu guessed that this was the case. These changes made the saber-toothed wolf look like a ferocious humanoid beast at this moment. Its speed, defense, and attack were all improved or even skyrocketed. Even the wolf could be used to attack, let alone the one hidden in it. All kinds of magic on the body. This natal magical power, called wolf demonic transformation, was passed down by the saber-toothed wolf for countless years. Whoosh! After this wolf transformation, the sharp claws and fangs of the saber-toothed wolf were almost all psychic weapons. His speed was terrifying. In a flash, he arrived in front of Wu Yu and began to attack like a storm. Dang dang dang. Wu Yu wielded the 9 directions suppressing demon pillar and fought with the saber-toothed wolf in close quarters. Under the fierce and rapid collision, sharp sounds and dazzling sparks broke out again and again. Although Wu Yu's Nanwuabeya King Buddha golden body was far superior to his opponent's elixir was also far superior to Wu Yu's. They were evenly matched within a short period of time. The brilliance of the Zhifang demonic suppression pillar and the brutality of the saber-toothed wolf collided continuously, causing sparkling fire. Wu Yu almost used the power of his body to fight the saber-toothed wolf up to the sky and into the earth at close range, exploding the mud. Saber-toothed wolves are best at fighting cautiously, and then integrating various magic into their claws and fangs. All they need is to be stabbed or bitten, and those evil magic will worm their way into the body like poisonous insects. Fortunately, Wu Yu's physical body is strong, especially with the Vajra Buddha within him. The threat to Wu Yu from such evil spells is not very great. What he has to worry about is the tearing attack power of the saber-toothed wolf. Once the defense is broken, the body will probably be torn apart. Boom! Wu Yu resisted the saber-toothed wolf's bite with his body. One end of the Zhifang demonic suppression pillar became extremely thick. He swung it in a circle in the air and split the mud hundreds of miles down into 2 halves. At the same time, it hit hard on the saber-toothed wolf's defensive arms. Buzz! The saber-toothed wolf was smashed deep into the mud, and tens of millions of tons of mud were blown up and swept across the world. Roar! The saber-toothed wolf became even more frantic under the pain, and rushed out from the deepest part of the mud. As soon as it spat out from its mouth, there was a torrent of liquid. The liquid was green, and wherever it went, mud can corrode even space. It was like a sea, sweeping and rolling towards Wu Yu. At the critical moment, the Yin-Yang Dao sword suddenly appeared in Wu Yu's left hand. This was the state of the combination of the Yin-Yang Dao sword. Wu Yu's eyes did not change, and he stretched out his hand to pierce. The Yin-Yang Dao sword flew out from his hand. Under the control of his sword, it blends into the space and disappears as if invisible. Super Divine Sword of the Void. This is the last main sword technique of the heavenly Yang Earth Yin Void sword technique, and it is still above the Void God killing sword. Buzz! When the Yin-Yang Dao sword disappeared, a large space in front of Wu Yu vibrated. It could not be seen with the naked eye, but from the vibration of the space, one could feel thousands of swords instantly penetrating the space and colliding with the saber-toothed wolf's spray. The torrent, the power of this void super divine sword, directly tore the torrent apart, and the thousands of torrents crashed into Wu Yu's surroundings. And those thousands of void super divine swords penetrated the torrent, and many invisible sword energies stabbed at the saber-toothed wolf. As soon as the saber-toothed wolf rushed out of the mud, it was suppressed by Wu Yu again, and blood surged all over his body. Fell down. Wu Yu. You are powerful. But, I still want to eat your meat. As he was smashing down, the saber-toothed wolf finally admitted that he had met an opponent who made him feel scared. Wu Yu, actually you can't do it. Just after the saber-toothed wolf finished speaking, Wu Yu had just withdrawn the Yin-Yang Dao sword, and the evil eyes suddenly appeared in front of Wu Yu's eyes. It turns into a deep green pool. Buzz! When Wu Yu looked at the devil's eyes awkwardly, he felt as if something had penetrated into his eyes and then into his brain. He suddenly felt like he had a splitting headache. You are so fragile, and you come to offend us, you are really looking for death. The easy smile of the devil's eyes was like a sharp thorn, drilling into his brain. This was Wu Yu's first time encountering this type of attack, so he was very unfamiliar with it. For a moment, he didn't know how to resist. When he endured the pain, he looked at the devil's eyes angrily and found that he had an even worse headache. This is the attack of the evil eyes, coming entirely from her eyes. She just needed Wu Yu to look into his eyes. In fact, the demon-eyed magical power illusory demon realm is so famous. What Wu Yu didn't know was that this level of headache was actually just the prelude to the illusory demon realm. Just when he wanted to hold back the pain and attack demon eyes, the mud below rioted again. The saber-toothed wolf that had been killed with blood by Wu Yu's sword took off again, but this time, what Wu Yu saw was enough. There are 5 saber-toothed wolves. The 5 saber-toothed wolves are exactly the same, even the injuries on their bodies and the location of the blood stains are exactly the same. Is this a clone technique? Wu Yu was shocked. He was wondering if he had underestimated the power of the saber-toothed wolf. At this moment, 5 saber-toothed wolves broke through the void, roared and rushed towards him, rushing in front of him in an instant. Get lost, Wu Yu struck the saber-toothed wolf closest to him with a stick. When his 9 directions demonic suppression pillar collided with the saber-toothed wolf, the saber-toothed wolf suddenly burst and turned into a burst of mist. Fake. However, Wu Yu had no way of distinguishing the fake from the real. The next moment, there were 4 saber-toothed wolves attacking, and it was impossible to tell whether it was true or false. At this juncture, Wu Yu's only reaction was to instantly become a Buddha on the spot, transforming into the inner Vajra Buddha, and the strength of the body can withstand the attack of the saber-toothed wolf. Sure enough, the 3 heads were all fake, and there was only one true body, which tore at Vajra Buddha's back with sharp claws from behind, immediately drawing a blood stain on Wu Yu's body, and among the claws, a stream of green liquid shot towards Wu Yu. Yu's body surged. Got hit. Not only was his body injured, but he also had a splitting headache, affected by the illusory demon realm. Wu Yu had just escaped from the pursuit of the saber-toothed wolf. When he looked back, he suddenly found that there were 5 more saber-toothed wolves, and they were all really the same. Even the demonic aura permeating their bodies was exactly the same, making it impossible to tell them apart. This is not a clone, it is the illusion of Demon Eye. You need to defeat Demon Eye to defeat the illusion. You see, just when Wu Yu was completely suppressed and the situation was dangerous, he suddenly heard someone telling him that there was no need. Looking at him, he knew that the monk he had rescued earlier did not leave, but came to the vicinity again. I see. It turned out that this was the illusory demon realm. Wu Yu thought it was the transformed clone of the saber-toothed wolf. He had no idea at first, but now he knows how to deal with it. The real body is right in front of you at this moment. The cultivator had experience fighting against the 2 of them. It was obvious that Demon Iao was also involved in the previous battle. However, she stood aside and Wu Yu thought she did not intervene. Now that the monk is outside the control of the evil eye, he can only see his true body. Wu Yu immediately looked over, and directly in front of him was the 2nd saber-toothed wolf from the left. At that critical moment, when those saber-toothed wolves came to kill again, it was like sending out the 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar suddenly. The 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar transformed into 9 in the air. /U003 cent /U003e /U003c /cente /U003e. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 292. 9 giant pillars suddenly appeared between heaven and earth, surrounding the 2nd saber-toothed wolf. Wu Yu allowed the other saber-toothed wolves to rush towards him, and suddenly activated the 9 directions suppressing demons. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. The 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar was more effective against demons. This suppression formed a barrier, instantly trapping the saber-toothed wolf. At the same time, all other saber-toothed wolves collided with Wu Yu's body, but they all turned into the smoke disappeared. This shows that the person Wu Yu trapped with the 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar was the real saber-toothed wolf. This moment was almost the only moment when Wu Yu could defeat the 2 of them. When the saber-toothed wolf was still struggling in the Jufangtown demonic pillar, Wu Yu rushed into the sky, leaped down, and separated the yin and yang Dao swords with his palms, one black and one black. White. The Void God Killing Sword. Super Divine Sword of the Void. The skilled sword cultivating skills fully demonstrated his identity as a Xuanhuan disciple. The void god-killing sword condensed the void sword chi, shook the space, and stabbed at the devil's eyes. The void super god sword was hidden in the god-killing sword, invisible. Silence, this is the real hidden murderous intention. The power of this double sword combination is that the opponent is safe and unaware of the existence of the void super divine sword. Broken, Demon Eyes was not entirely easy to deal with. While casting the illusory demon realm, she guarded herself in it with a dark blue aperture. When the void god-killing sword impacted on it, the void suddenly exploded. Twisted and trembling violently, the demonic eyes blocked the power of the void god-killing sword with great force. The illusory demon realm increased the power, making Wu Yu's headache even worse, and almost caused the saber-toothed wolf to rush out of the 9 directions suppression demon. Disease. Until this time, the void super divine sword finally showed its power. Thousands of invisible sword energy flew away and penetrated the weak part of the aperture from other directions. It was like a sudden force, instantly piercing the devil's eyes. Immediately, Demon Eye was stabbed by Wang Jian. He screamed and fell down with blood all over his body. He was severely injured by Wu Yu. The void super divine sword is still quite domineering in swordsmanship. Demonic Eyes' resistance is obviously not as good as that of the saber-toothed wolf, so it was severely damaged in one fell swoop and its illusory demon realm was completely lost. Wu Yu finally recovered and his vision became clear. Roar. The saber-toothed wolf suddenly became even more crazy when he saw that Demon Eye was embarrassed and defeated. You're looking for death. Wu Yu turned around in the void, looked at him silently and said, my defeated general is a prisoner, and you are still talking arrogantly. He directly removed the 9 demon suppression pillars and merged the 9 demon suppression pillars into one, turning it into a golden stick, which was held in his hand. At this moment, Wu Yu looked at the sword with a stern and domineering attitude. Teeth wolf. Those golden eyes were burning with blazing fire, like a god coming to the world. Boom boom. The saber-toothed wolf stepped through the swamp and rushed up at a terrifying speed. As it ran, a deep blue light flashed between its claws, and ancient symbols flickered on it. He has murderous intentions. However, Wu Yu was just simple and neat, but his movements were much more explosive and crisper than him. Violence. Nowadays, the level gap is too large, and the holding technique is difficult to use, so Wu Yu uses violent techniques more often. Although it is not the immortal ape transformation at this time, his arms are also thicker, and the golden veins inside are fully exposed. 9 directions break the boundary. Activate another magic circle on the 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar, with the power of breaking through the world, shock and attack. A stick fell from the sky and collided head-on with the saber-toothed wolf. Bang! The saber-toothed wolf came faster and smashed down even faster. It was like a ball. As soon as it flew over, it was hit deep in the mud by Wu Yu. With the help of the violent technique, Wu Yu naturally won a complete victory. The saber-toothed wolf was probably injured more seriously than the demon eye. In fact, Wu Yu didn't want to use the violent technique in this supreme hunting ground, because after the use, now my arms are sore and my fighting ability is greatly reduced. If other monsters arrive at this time, the situation will be dangerous. The demon's ban will be in vain if you don't take it. After shockingly defeating the 2 opponents, he first caught Demon Eyes who was trying to escape. The opponent was severely injured and was intercepted by Wu Yu with the Yin-Yang Dao sword. The evil eyes turned into human kindness, and he fell pitifully to the ground, full of charm. She bit her red lips, looked at Wu Yu in disbelief, and said, "Are you a disciple of Xuanhuan? You have such ability, but you still dare to be so unruly in my demon territory, and you are not afraid that we will let you die young. Stop talking nonsense and bring out the demon ban," Wu Yu said. "You are not prey, why do you want a demon ban?" Demon Eye asked awkwardly. "Get out of here, of course. Demon Eyes laughed sweetly, "You are too naive. If you enter the supreme hunting ground, unless you are a demon, you will not be able to get enough of the demon ban, and you will not be able to leave at all. Generally, the demon ban can only be hung on the body and does not need to be hidden in the sumuru bag." Wu Yu flipped through it and directly grabbed a demon ban, then left the Devil's Eyes and went to find the saber-toothed wolf. The saber-toothed wolf fainted directly in the depths of the mud. After Wu Yu collected the demon ban, he felt that the movement around him was much louder. Apparently many strong people heard the movement here and came over. On the way. "Don't linger, hurry up and leave," the ascetic said nervously. Of course, he was out of breath and couldn't escape very fast. In the spirit of saving people to the end, Wu Yu took control of the man without saying anything and took him away quickly. After about a quarter of an hour of speeding, the other party said, "In hunting ground number 6, it is very dangerous if you don't enter the mud. Don't run away, it's better to hide inside first." In this way, Wu Yu nodded. He also felt that escaping like this would attract more attention. So he thought of a way to surround himself with the 9-direction demon suppression pillars to form a closed space. This was just a small-scale operation of the 9-direction demon suppression array diagram, and then directly inserted into the depths of the mud, so that he could sink to the deepest position and still have a certain amount of space. This chapter is not yet finished, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content below. Soon they were submerged in the mud, and Wu Yu continued to sink. He did not expect that the mud would be so deep, just like a vast ocean. It took a long time before he finally reached the point where the surroundings changed from mud to hard land. Wu Yu used 9 demon suppression pillars to support a large space underground without getting dirty. What surprised him was that because of the underground spiritual veins, the spiritual energy between heaven and earth was very rich at this location. Obviously, this was a safe and very suitable place for cultivation. Even if someone found them and suddenly attacked, the 9-direction demon suppression pillars could block it. It was not until this time that Wu Yu confirmed that he was safe. Wu Yu was very satisfied when he got 2 demon bans just after coming to hunting ground number 6. He was very lucky. He estimated that his strength in hunting ground number 6 should be considered relatively strong. "I am Xuanhuan Wu. Thank you for your help." The cultivator with a gloomy and haggard face bowed to Wu Yu. "Just call me Wu Yu. You should rest assured to heal your wounds and recover as soon as possible, otherwise it will be difficult to survive in this hunting ground." Wu Yu gave him advice. After all, he knew that his ability was limited. It was impossible to protect Xuanhuan Wu for too long, not to mention protecting the people in the entire supreme hunting ground from being killed by demons. In terms of age, Wu Yu was indeed a junior. Xuanhuan Wu sat cross-legged on the ground. In fact, his complexion was much better now, but he still needed to expel the magic of the saber-toothed wolf on him. However, he was not in a hurry, but asked, "I heard that you are a disciple of Xuanhuan? But why don't you have a slavery ban on you?" This matter made him very confused, so he couldn't help asking. Wu Yu replied simply, "I am a disciple of Xuanhuan, and I am a friend of Zhuing, the son of the infant emperor. This time I strayed into the supreme hunting ground, and I also need to collect 50 demon bans. The difference between me and you is that I don't have the slavery ban. In fact, my fate is similar to yours." He was not very optimistic about his future. As the saber-toothed wolf said, he showed a strong talent, and the demons might be afraid of him, but the problem is, if he doesn't show it, how can he leave with the demon ban? Wu Yu was also anxious to return to Xuanhuan Xianmen. "I see." Xuanhuan Wu nodded, and then introduced himself, "I am from Yanhuang Emperor City, and I used to be a member of the Yanhuang Immortal Army. Unfortunately, I was captured alive by demons during a mission. I have been here for more than 30 years. I can't believe that I can survive until now." Speaking of this, Xuanhuan Wu smiled helplessly. Yanhuang Immortal Army. Wu Yu remembered that this was the core force of Yanhuang Emperor City. It was a group of cultivators who guarded the city and went out to perform tasks, but they were managed in the way of the army. They were considered a group of cultivators. He was a little yearning. He didn't expect that Huang Yanwu was actually a member of the Yanhuang Immortal Army. The Yanhuang Immortal Army was very terrifying. With Huang Yanwu's realm, he was probably just a soldier in it. Above him were centurions, thousand-man commanders, generals, commanders, etc., with complete military management to guard Yanhuang Emperor City. Countless forces had attacked Yanhuang Emperor City, but they were all repelled by the Yanhuang Immortal Army. Wu Yu estimated that a managed army of cultivators, with auxiliary tactics, would have a very terrible combat effectiveness, so he estimated that the Yanhuang Immortal Army's attacking ability was also very strong. After all, if there was a large-scale conflict between cultivators from other sects, they would basically be a mess, rushing up, and not being managed, and most of them would not obey tactical arrangements. Wu Yu was born in the army. He had been fighting for the country since he was a child and was familiar with military books, so he had some luck in this regard. As a disciple of Xuanhuan, you are still using the spiritual tool of my Yanhuang Emperor City, the 9-direction demon pillar. It seems that you have some understanding of our Yanhuang Emperor City, right? Huang Yanwu asked. It turned out that he also recognized the 9-direction demon pillar. Wu Yu shook his head and said, I don't know much about it. Meeting in such an environment was just a little awkward, because Wu Yu couldn't even control his own life and death, and he didn't know how he could help Huang Yanwu. Cultivation is plundering, and only when you are strong can you be chivalrous. He is not strong enough, so how can he be chivalrous and save these people? Huang Yanwu has been here for decades. In fact, he had prepared for death before, so he was quite open-minded. He said, you are in a better situation. I have heard a little bit about the rumors about Jueying here. I think he will let you leave safely. As for our group, we were almost sentenced to death before we came in. To the outside world, I am just a person who died in battle more than 30 years ago. I have no ties anyway. It doesn't matter whether I die early or late. Wait until I recover a little, and you can let me out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 293. Every battle will be tempered and there will be certain results, so Wu Yu is also paying attention to the gains from this battle, especially what he gets from demon eyes. He and Huang Yanwu were both quiet, and there was silence in the Zhifang demon suppression array. There were occasional noises outside, but Wu Yu sank very deep, so no demons noticed them for the time being. Here at hunting ground number 6, Wu Yu made a sound by knocking, which would attract demons at any time. Therefore, Wu Yu stopped refining magic weapons for the time being and turned to the talisman array. Seeing that Wu Yu was learning alchemy and drawing magic circles, and Huang Yanwu was also interested in recovering, he exchanged some experiences with Wu Yu. Wu Yu found that with Huang Yanwu's guidance, many of his previous confusions suddenly became clear. Sure enough, these older ascetics, who have been immersed in it for decades or hundreds of years, will definitely have some gains that they cannot experience at their age. In the process of communicating with him, Wu Yu benefited a lot. However, apart from daily communication, Wu Yu did not speak much to Huang Yanwu. In fact, he was depressed. Because, the more exchanges you have, you will obviously understand that Huang Yanwu is a person with an upright character and is worth making friends with. Gradually, he will become a friend and he will care more about the other person's life and death. But Wu Yu knew very well that he couldn't save Huang Yanwu now, let alone all the ascetics in the supreme hunting ground, just like he couldn't save the beautiful fox in the demonic abyss. Therefore, he would rather have less communication with Xuanhuan, so as not to feel so guilty when he sees him leave this world. Of course, it was this feeling of aggrievedness that made Wu Yu so angry. Rage against the supreme hunting ground, anger against the hatred between the two races. Obviously Xuanhuan also knows this truth, so except for communicating about the magic circle, he is silent most of the time and only speaks a few words occasionally. Actually, the supreme hunting ground is nothing. We ascetics hunt monsters without mercy. Our fate here is actually our fate. It is not much different from dying in battle. In fact, we should be captured and given to the monster boys. Practice your skills, and sometimes you can beat up a few little guys. In fact, as long as you think about it, it doesn't matter. As the saying goes, the law of heaven is ruthless, the strong survives, and the weak eat the strong. These are the rules of all worlds. Even a beast in the jungle is like this. Under the rules, let alone us, Xuanhuan is more chic than Wu Yu imagined. Is it possible for the two races to prosper together, fight less, and build a common path together? Wu Yu asked. Xuanhuan smiled slightly and said, I thought the same thing as you before. Wouldn't it be better to practice the Tao together? Later I understood that this is simply impossible. First, the hatred from generation to generation are not so easy to solve. Secondly, the way of heaven is to let us fight. Only the strongest one can become an immortal. Fighting is the most direct way to realize the great way. Maybe the number of places to become an immortal is limited. Do you want to fight? This is a world of struggle. Wu Yu understood what he meant, that is to say, his and Zhu Ying's thoughts were actually fantasy, and anyone else could understand it. A few days later, Xuanhuan almost recovered, and Wu Yu actually made a lot of progress through communicating with him. Xuanhuan stood up, seemingly ready to leave. His look of decadence disappeared and he felt relaxed. He said to Wu Yu, my fate is to disappear in this supreme hunting ground at a certain moment. I was unwilling to do so before. Because there is something hidden in me, and now that I have met you, Wu Yu, I want to give you something. Wu Yu stood up quickly and looked at Xuanhuan. The other party's expression was very relaxed, as if he was talking about something trivial. Although Wu Yu tried his best to interact with him as little as possible, it was undeniable that he still regarded him as a respectable elder during this period. That is why he wanted to leave here and go his own way. Wu Yu, there was still a fire burning in his heart, and he was a little unwilling. He just felt that he was not strong enough to control himself like this, and he did not even dare to communicate deeply with the other party. What are you giving me? Wu Yu was a little stunned. Xuanhuan did not take the things first, but said, this matter has been a long time ago. It was not long ago when I first entered the Yanhuang Emperor city. At that time, I heard that underneath the Yanhuang Emperor city, there was a suppressed group that almost destroyed the entire city. The world's ultimate monster. Peerless demon, Wu Yu had never heard of it. Hey, this rumor has been widely circulated in Yanhuang Emperor city, but most people think it is a rumor, Xuanhuan said. Wu Yu continued to listen to him. At that time, I had something in my hand. When I was very young, I got a stone in a very ordinary mountain cave. This stone was very ordinary, but very strange, like a small egg. I carried it close to me at that time, and it seemed that everything in my practice became a little easier. I don't know if it was an illusion, but I kept carrying this stone with me. Maybe it was the guidance of this small stone. I went to Yanhuang Emperor city and joined the Yanhuang Immortal army. On a full moon night, I unexpectedly noticed that this small stone was shining, as if it was guiding me in which direction to go. Wu Yu realized that what he was about to say might be a big deal. Maybe it really involves a peerless demon? Xuanhuan remembered that time and fell into memories. He continued, I took the small stone and walked in the city of Emperor Xuanhuan. When I was guided to a very ordinary place, it was just a very ordinary place. It was an ordinary bluestone slab, but when I stepped on that bluestone slab, I fell down, or was swallowed. Anyway, I don't know how long it took, but I finally stood on the ground. It was a narrow space. The place was very eerie. At that time, I thought of the rumors of the peerless demon and was so frightened. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Then what, Wu Yu asked. Then, I saw something in the corner of this narrow space. It was an egg. It was a pure white egg. It looked alive, and there was even life inside. I thought at that time, maybe this egg, it's the demon that was suppressed and sealed in rumors, and almost destroyed the entire world. I was so frightened at that time that I ran back. I didn't know what I bumped into. It seemed to be the exit passage. I returned to Xuanhuan Emperor City. At that time, the small stone in my hand also dimmed. Thinking about it, it seems that the egg just now is somewhat similar to my little stone. Wu Yu was confused and thought it was a fantasy. Later, I wasn't so scared and became suspicious. I wanted to go in and see the egg again to see what secrets it held. But from then on, the little stone in my hand never changed like that night. I kept waiting. Until one time when I went on a mission, I was defeated by a demon and came here. This incident has always remained in my heart. It is the only thing I worry about when I face death. It sounds like it should be a wonderful experience. When he was young, he got an egg-like stone. After receiving the guidance of this stone, he came to Xuanhuan Emperor City and had a wonderful experience. Unfortunately, Huang Yanwu was too timid at that time and chose directly without finding out. Obviously it was something that would forever puzzle him, but unfortunately he was stuck here with no chance of leaving. In other words, there is a connection between this egg-like stone and the real egg, so what you are most confused about is, what is that egg, and is it related to the suppressed peerless demon, Wu Yu asked. That's right. Huang Yanwu nodded. While nodding, he took out a very ordinary egg-shaped stone, which was about the size of an egg. In fact, it looked like a very ordinary stone. When Wu Yu held it, he couldn't feel anything. It was strange, but after he exerted a little strength, he found that he couldn't crush the stone. You know, with his strength, if it were an ordinary stone, it would have been shattered long ago. Wu Yu, I have no chance in this life. I was originally planning to leave this world with this doubt, or secret, but I have been thinking about it these days and feel a little unwilling. You said that once I die, this thing silent here, how many years will it take before someone will take this stone to Xuanhuan Emperor City? This is the territory of demons, and Xuanhuan Emperor City is the forbidden land of demons, but luckily, you appeared, and you saved my life. I think this is God's arrangement. I don't want to let the secret remain silent, so he will be yours from now on. Huang Yanwu looked at him with a smile, his voice full of determination. How many demon bands do you have now? Wu Yu asked. Huang Yanwu said, there are only more than 10. It is not easy to defeat a demon. Some demons are cheating. There is nothing you can do if you just don't give the demon a ban. We are different from you. We are real prey here. The main thing is the role is still hunted. Speaking of this, Huang Yanwu sighed and said, in the final analysis, at least for me, it is impossible to get out of the supreme hunting ground alive. Even if we leave the supreme hunting ground, how can we leave Yunmengai? When we were outside, we heard did you say who left the supreme hunting ground? No, so you should understand that based on your relationship with Zhu Ying, you are the only cultivator who can possibly leave here, and we, the prey, are just trying to survive a few more days. It's just fighting. Therefore, Wu Yu knew what he meant. He didn't really want to take away Huang Yanwu's things, but as Huang Yanwu said, it was impossible for him to leave. He pinned his hope on Wu Yu. Let's see how long you can live. If one day you have the power to shake the demon and can come here, and you understand the secret of this stone, then you can come to me, or you may be able to tell me the truth. Huang Yanwu smiled. After that, he didn't say much and signaled Wu Yu to let him leave. /U003 sem /U003 e /U003 sem /U003 f. Follow the official QQ public account, ID, love, read it early, and keep abreast of the latest information. /U003 c /m /U003 e /U003 c /m /U003 e. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 294. He was going to leave eventually, and Wu Yu couldn't protect him even though he fought hard for 50 demon bands. In this hunting ground number 6, it can only be regarded as a chance encounter. Wu Yu asked him to live a little longer. He gave Wu Yu a stone with a secret. The secret of this stone is the most unsolvable knot in Huang Yanwu's life. He thought countless times, if he had not retreated that night, but had gone to explore the secret of the white egg, what would he have gained and what would he have become? But life is like this. A small decision will affect your whole life. There is no regret medicine in this world, and it is impossible to turn back time. After handing over the source of the secret to Wu Yu, Huang Yanwu left in a relaxed manner, but Wu Yu felt heavy and slightly violent. It's not because of the stone, but because he has been weak so far. He can't help the person he wants to help, so he can only send him away. This makes him feel angry, especially since it has been too long since he returned to Shushan. The longer it goes, the more time passes. The irritability in his heart would swallow up his reason. Under such circumstances, it is difficult to concentrate on refining the golden elixir and comprehending the way of heaven. In this way, Wu Yu knew that he had only one way to solve the depression in his heart, and that was to fight. Only by pouring out the anger in his heart into the fight could he calm down, continue to move forward, and strengthen himself after the fight. He quickly took action. To collect demon bands, I'd better use less violence. This transformation technique should be used as a life-saving skill, rather than used in every battle. This makes me too dependent, and if I win too easily, I'm afraid I will be sent away. Go to hunting ground number 7. Most of the demons in hunting ground number 7 are stronger, and it will be more difficult to get the demon ban. He knows very well that in this world of struggle, there are some trump cards that cannot be easily revealed, otherwise others will want to find a way to crack them. For example, Wu Yu's combat effectiveness will decrease once he uses violence. After thinking clearly, he withdrew the Zhifang demonic suppression pillar and headed in the opposite direction where Huang Yanwu left. From today on, he will hunt demons. Very few prey in the supreme hunting ground would be so proactive in hunting demons. Wu Yu directly exposed himself and attracted the attention of the nearby monsters. There was no slavery ban on him. In fact, it was more difficult for the monsters to find him. But when he was unscrupulous, even wild and domineering and did not hide his existence, it would be easy for the monsters to find him. Much more. In fact, the demons also have a training base in hunting ground number 6. After Wu Yu defeated the saber-toothed wolf and the demon eye, the news of his appearance in hunting ground number 6 had spread. Almost all the demons in hunting ground number 6 knew about it. There is such a person. Sent to the supreme hunting ground by mistake, the best friend of Zhu Ying, the son of the infant emperor. Because there is no slavery ban on Wu Yu, the demons are actually not very interested in fighting him. Those who are interested are basically because they are not convinced and want to try for themselves how powerful Wu Yu is. So when Wu Yu attracted the first demon, the demon immediately recognized him and said, "Are you Wu Yu? There is no slavery ban, I am too lazy to bother with you, so get out." This demon was still in human form, and Wu Yu couldn't tell what kind of demon it was. Generally speaking, it should be the 7th level demon pill, not as good as the saber-toothed wolf and the others. However, Wu Yu didn't care what kind of monster he was. It's not that you are too lazy to fight with me, but I, Wu Yu, want to get your demon ban today. After Wu Yu said something, he took action directly. The 9 directions demonic pillar rushed out and quickly appeared in his hand, rolling with shock. Whoosh! Wu Yu rushed to the demon with terrifying speed. The 7th level demon pill has no advantage at all for Wu Yu. It is equivalent to Hideyazai's strength, but Wu Yu is much stronger than Hideyazai now. Bang! With one blow of the stick, the demon was smashed deep into the ground. Wu Yu was hit in the head and was stunned. He only said one sentence from beginning to end, but Wu Yu was relaxed, took away the demon ban, and left directly. If he stayed here, he would definitely be surrounded soon, and he didn't want to be surrounded. It's not interesting to fight against the 7th Heavenly Demon Corps. In fact, here at Hunting Ground number 6, the 7th Heavenly Demon Corps is basically practicing in the base, and not many dare to come out to hunt prey. After all, almost all the 7th level Jindan Dao realm in number 6 Hunting Ground were killed. After succeeding, Wu Yu felt much better looking at the 3 demon bans in his hand. The more these things increase, it means that the day when I return to Shushan is getting closer. This has almost become Wu Yu's belief. From then on, he maintained a certain rhythm. About every 10 days, he would quietly go out and defeat a demon, whether it was the 7th or 8th level of the demon elixir. Correct. When he was in hiding, he was basically difficult to detect because he had no slavery ban on him. When he was practicing in the depths of the swamp, refining golden elixirs, drawing magic circles, and refining elixirs, he was generally considered to be pure. Because he was still fighting monsters at the same time, the progress was actually faster than Wu Yu imagined. With the help of some UN golden elixir, Wu Yu discovered that with the passage of time, he had roughly found the tip of the iceberg of the so-called human elixir. 3 months later, at the number 6 hunting ground of Wu Yu's famous town, in just 3 months, 13 demons, including the 2 saber-toothed wolves, had been defeated by Wu Yu, and Wu Yu took away the demon ban. In fact, it was not easy for Wu Yu to win the next 10 battles. His opponents were all from the 8th level of demon elixir, and some of them were much stronger than saber-toothed wolves, and their abilities were even weirder. Wu Yu could not win without using violent techniques. Under such circumstances, he fought almost to exhaustion before relying on his physical strength to defeat his opponent and take away the demon ban. Every time he fights, he has to rest for about 10 days before he can recover. He is determined. While healing his wounds, he draws the magic circle every time to understand the trajectory of the Tao. When the pain affects his concentration, he feels that the effect is better. Up some. Of course, Wu Yu did not actually win every battle. He suffered 3 miserable defeats and was severely wounded by his opponents. However, fortunately, he continued to use his physical advantage to escape from the battlefield. After all, there was no slavery ban, and there was so much mud underneath that he could use it as a cover. In fact, Wu Yu was grateful for these 3 disastrous defeats, which allowed him to gain more valuable combat experience, and realize his shortcomings. And it was precisely because he won and lost that he was not sent to hunting ground number 7. Once it is determined that his strength exceeds that of demons, he will be sent away immediately. This is quite thrilling for Wu Yu. In fact, he also encountered the law enforcer of hunting ground number 6. He should be a cultivator from Zifukanghijing, which is similar to the Earth Sword level of Shushan. It may be due to Zhuiying's relationship. He appeared several times, but did not show any concern to Wu. Whatever Wu Yu does, after all, what Wu Yu is doing now and the battles he has gone through are all within the rules, and the demon ban he has gained is also deserved. In this way, Wu Yu mechanically learned from the battle, and also used the battle to calm the restlessness in his heart. He also used the battle to understand the deeper Tao, and then drew magic circles, healed wounds, refined elixirs, and tempered golden elixirs. His days were very busy. In order to get there as soon as possible, he returned to Xuanhuan and devote yourself to the battle. Wu Yu found that although his level of improvement was not as fast as before, he still felt that his speed in recent times was the real breakthrough. Only now did he gradually understand what the ascetics meant by Tao. It was a mysterious feeling that could not be described in any words. In the 4th month, Wu Yu saw Xuanhuan Wu's body in the swamp. After all, he couldn't get through it and died in the battle. Wu Yu collected his body. If he could leave one day, Wu Yu planned to bury him near Yanhuang Emperor City so that he could truly go home. It's just this corpse that makes Wu Yu feel even more irritable. He needs more fighting to calm down the anger and desire for strength in his heart. After that, Wu Yu shocked the entire Supreme Hunting Ground even more. He was like a devil, no matter whether he won or lost, he constantly provoked and challenged the monsters. As long as the monsters he targeted could not even escape, and Wu Yu's physical body was terrible, it was simply a fight. The immortal existence, no matter how seriously injured it is, appears again more than 10 days later and continues to seize the demon ban, which is like crazy. However, he was indeed not completely victorious, because Wu Yu insisted on not using violent techniques. He probably encountered some powerful demons, and he was basically defeated. Especially some demons had the ability to attack the number 7 hunting ground. The most terrifying one it is the natal magical power of some demons. Wu Yu has experienced various natal magical powers during this period of time. The most powerful thing about demons is their natal magical power. Out of about 10 fights, he would win 7 and lose 3. Unlike other prey, others will die if they lose a game, but the demons still have some scruples about Wu Yu, so they don't fight to death. Because of this, and Wu Yu's physical body is gradually moving towards immortality. The direction is close, the resistance, the recovery ability is quite terrifying, and the ability to escape is also very strong, so even if he loses 3 games, he can escape unscathed. If it doesn't work, he will directly use violence to defeat the opponent. It was this frequency that prevented him from being sent to hunting ground number 7, and he had more and more demon bans in his hands. If this continues, everyone knows that Wu Yu is very likely to leave the supreme hunting ground. Maybe Zhu knew about Wu Yu's situation here, so he objected to sending Wu Yu to hunting ground number 7. Therefore, the law enforcer at hunting ground number 6 did not do this. Anyway, whether Wu Yu went out or not had little to do with him, and there was no need for him to offend Zhu Ying. It seemed that Zhu Ying was still staying at hunting ground number 2. At this time, it was the law enforcers at hunting ground number 2 who were anxious. In this way, Wu Yu can be regarded as the nightmare of hunting ground number 6. The demons that once defeated him gradually began to lose to him one by one, and the demon ban was taken away by him. Wu Yu spent more time deep underground, using the peace gained after the battle to practice hard. In this way, in the past year and 3 months in total, he calculated that he had been in the supreme hunting ground for 2 years. There are a total of 41 demon bans in hand. /U003 sem /U003e /U003 sem /U003 follow the official QQ public account, ID, love, read it early, and keep abreast of the latest information /U003c/m /U003e /U003c/m /U003e. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 295. In the blink of an eye, 2 years have passed in the supreme hunting ground. Time can be said to be monotonous and boring, and Wu Yu is immersed in practice all day long. However, it can also be said that it was thrilling, because most of the battles he experienced were not easy, and injuries were common. However, compared with the 41 demon bans and the gains in spiritual practice, These are all worth it. Fighting with demons this year has brought Wu Yu a profound transformation, making his temperament more and more passionate. Sometimes, Wu Yu feels that he and the unparalleled Monkey King in the mental ape are getting closer and closer. Similar. The disdain in his heart rolled like fire, erupting from the inside out. Looking at the golden elixir now, after such a long period of training, the white golden elixir has nearly doubled in strength, and the elixir has also improved a lot, but the most important thing is that the meaning of the golden elixir is now different. Surrounded by clouds and mist in the meantime, there is the meaning of Tao in it. This change can be directly reflected in Wu Yu's eyes. Now he is no longer the young man who only relies on his physical body and alchemy to bombard him. In fact, over the past year, Wu Yu has made rapid progress in magic circles and alchemy. If the materials for Black Mountain Ghost Wing had not been basically used up, he would have even made greater progress. At least the magic circles he left behind would have been as long as they were suitable. Wu Yu has tried them all. In terms of alchemy, even the yield rate of Yuan Jindan is quite high. As long as he has enough materials, Wu Yu can transform it into Yuan Jindan himself, and his character is quite good. There are 9 monster bands left. We must fight quickly and get it done as soon as possible. Don't let the monsters find ways to hinder my progress. Beidou Yuxia. Hey, Yan, brother, watch the chapters for free without pop-ups. Wu Yu was walking through the mud alone. When he came to the swamp and saw the dark clouds rolling in the sky, he suddenly thought of Xuanhuan. It had been a while since he went back, and he had almost forgotten the sight of Xuanhuan in the blue sky. It has been more than 3 years since Wei entered the reincarnation cave in Xuanhuan Mountain. Logically speaking, she should have come out long ago. It was originally agreed upon, but I didn't expect that I would break the promise. After more than 3 years, Nangang Wei has turned 18 and is probably already a slim woman. Would she be very sad if she thought I was dead? I haven't returned to Xuanhuan for so long. Others may have forgotten who I am. Wu Yu tightened his grip on the Zhufang demon suppressing pillar, which was a gift given to him by Nangang Wei. Whoosh! He stopped and moved quickly, looking for his next prey. Hunting ground number 2. When Zhu was practicing in seclusion, he heard that Wu Yu seemed to have obtained 41 demon bands. I didn't expect him to be so fast. Of course, it should be very difficult to win. Otherwise, they will definitely send him to a higher hunting ground to increase the difficulty for him. Zhu knew very well. When you reach the number 40, you are really nervous, and you can't make any mistakes next. Even if Wu Yu has a relationship like Zhu, other demons will be more ruthless when dealing with him. For most monsters, it is obviously a shame for a human race to challenge them. Zhu was wondering if he should go to hunting ground number 6 to help him. At least under his eyes, they would not do anything against the rules against the high-profile Wu Yu. That's all. He got so much on his own, but he just doesn't want me to kill anyone. If I go up now, I'll be putting the cart before the horse. However, I should trust him to take the final step. I just don't know. How does his current ability compare to mine? After not seeing each other for more than a year, Zhu heard all the rumors about Wu Yu, and his heart was filled with excitement. To be honest, at the same age, he had never met an opponent who could compete with him, but Wu Yu was such a... Zhu was actually not very interested in fighting those demons that were very powerful but had also practiced for a long time. This year, Zhu reputation in the endless sea of demons has deteriorated to the extreme. As the son of Zhu, he has a reputation of cowardice and cowardice. Even the lowest level monsters dare to show off to Zhu his courage to kill. The pressure from all around was increasing, but Zhu remained calm and calm. Because he knew in his heart that his improvement in realm was still unrivaled. Just a few days ago, he was faster than Wu Yu and had reached the 9th level of the demonic pill. In fact, with his current strength, he wanted to directly penetrate the entire. The supreme hunting ground may not be a problem. But he doesn't. Hunting ground number 1. Zhang Zuyu and a group of Zuyu dogs were hiding in the forest, looking at the land of this hunting ground. One of the moon-chasing dogs came galloping from the outside. The moment it approached Zhang Zuyu, the moon-chasing dog transformed into a human form. With a solemn expression, it half-knelt on the ground and said, "Boss, the latest news is that Wu Yu was in the 6th hunting ground. We have obtained 41 demon bands, and we are not far from 50. Zhang Zuyu's expression changed and he said, "It's only been 1 month, and you've already gotten 4? Why haven't the law enforcers at hunting ground number 6 sent him to hunting ground number 7? He's already gotten more than 40. It is said that he probably won miserably in every battle and was seriously injured. He was not qualified enough to be sent to hunting ground number 7. In addition, he is also Zhu Ying's friend, so they must be a little wary." Zhang Zuyu also understood this truth. "Boss, he has collected 50 demon bands. Are you really going to send him away from Yunmen?" The moon-chasing dogs asked in disbelief. Zhang Zuyu had a grim face and was silent for a while before saying, "That's going to have to wait until he has the ability to get 50. You all know the hidden rules of our supreme hunting ground. No matter which prey it is, if the demon ban on his hand exceeds 40, he will be given special attention. The law enforcers have many ways to secretly arrange demons, and the demons will spontaneously give him a round-robin battle. Other cultivators will basically be killed at this time. Even if Wu Yu cannot be killed, it is okay to cripple him and let him stay for a few more years. He is too powerful now, which makes our demon clan lose face. There are many demons who want to deal with and challenge him. In addition, Zhu Ying's reputation is getting worse and worse, and many people will also vent their anger on Wu Yu. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content later. It seems that the boss doesn't have to worry about being humiliated and send him away from Yunmen in person. Everyone laughed easily. Indeed, the demons in hunting ground number 6 are very interested in Wu Yu. I heard that there were many demons that were originally going to be promoted to hunting ground number 7. They stayed in hunting ground number 6 just to wait for Wu Yu to appear and put an end to Wu Yu's process of obtaining the demon ban. After all, if a human teenager dares to be so arrogant, where can we, the geniuses of the demon race, put our faces? There will be a result soon. This matter has nothing to do with us. Let's wait and see. I heard that there is a golden stone monkey of the 9th heaven of demon pill. After hearing that Wu Yu could transform into an ape, he was looking for him everywhere for more than 2 months. With the violent temper of the golden stone monkey, Wu Yu would definitely be in a mess if he met him. Nonsense, the golden stone monkey, even our boss dare not offend it easily. Wu Yu didn't know that his ambush would make the entire supreme hunting ground, and even people outside the supreme hunting ground, talk about him. He only thought of himself as a killer in the night, but he didn't know that there were more people looking for him and hunting him. Defeating Wu Yu is also an honor in this supreme hunting ground. Holding the dimmed 9-sided demon-suppressing pillar, Wu Yu stepped lightly on the mud and traveled 100 miles in an instant. More than a year of fighting has cultivated his most acute sense of the surrounding situation. This is undoubtedly a real hunting ground, but there is only the question of who is the prey and who is the hunter. At first, the demons were reluctant to encounter Wu Yu because it was very strenuous to fight him and there was no slavery ban. But later, more and more people were looking for him, challenging him, and winning fame. That's why Wu Yu was a little low-key this time and no longer directly attracted the attention of the enemy as before. He is not a demon. The supreme hunting ground is full of demonic energy, but after more than a year of training, Wu Yu can vaguely feel the distance from the demons from the strength of the demonic energy. It is not easy to find demons, most of them are hidden in the swamp. Occasionally, he met a cultivator. Wu Yu had a blank expression on his face and passed by these people struggling on the verge of death. It seems that there are not many people who think as open-mindedly as Xuanhuan Wu Yu. About half a day later, Wu Yu saw a demon in the misty clouds in the distance. The demon was floating above the swamp, with its back to Wu Yu, as if looking for something, moving forward. The demon's back was slightly thin, and it should be a woman, wearing a gray robe, with gray hair. It should be a bird. Wu Yu roughly felt it through its movements and the type of demonic energy. After spending a long time with demons, he actually understood them very well. In the past year or so, he has fought with more than 50 demons, and the battle process is the easiest process to get familiar with each other. Whoosh! Wu Yu went around in front of the other party without saying a word. It was indeed a seemingly delicate woman, swaying in the wind, looking at Wu Yu confusedly. Wu Yu, it's you, I finally waited for you to appear but soon, the grey-clothed woman smiled slightly, looking a little cute. It's not you who's waiting for me, it's your demon band that's waiting for me. Wu Yu didn't bother to be polite with her, and he fought quickly. The nine-sided demon pillar rotated in his hand, generating a whistling force that made the surrounding mud splash rapidly. Hee. The woman suddenly spread her arms, and as expected, grey feathers could be seen coming out of her body at a speed visible to the naked eye. Her beak turned into a bird's beak, her hands turned into wings, and the whole person transformed into a huge grey sparrow, soaring in front of Wu Yu. Sky Bird. Wu Yu remembered that this should be a demon called Sky Bird. Sky Bird was originally a magical bird that could bite space. When it became a demon, it opened up infinite possibilities. Its magic was probably similar to Wu Yu's void swordsmanship. However, the Sky Bird flew away, but took out something and said, "Now, you are trapped. \U003 sem \U003e \U003 sem \U003 Follow the official QQ public account, ID, love, read first, and get the latest information at any time \U003c/m \U003e \U003c/m \U003e. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 296. Wu Yu looked closely and saw that the object floating in front of the flying bird was gray and was a stone lock. The flying bird surrounded the stone lock with its wings, blocking Wu Yu's sight. At the same time, she was also activating the power of the magic array on the stone lock. At this moment, the stone lock was activated and the surrounding space had certain changes. Obviously, this is a spiritual magic weapon. The power of the magic array on the spiritual magic weapon, under the urging of the Dan Yuan of the 8th level of the Flying Bird Demon Pill, showed its effectiveness in a very short time. From the words of the Flying Bird, she had been prepared long ago, using this stone lock spiritual magic weapon, waiting for his arrival. Wu Yu did not make any other moves, because he knew that since the other party was ready, she would not let him escape quickly. Sure enough, when the stone lock was activated, the area within hundreds of miles seemed to be shrouded in an invisible spherical space. This was a stable, closed spherical space. No matter whether it was flying upwards or going deep into the mud, after transferring hundreds of miles, it would touch the barrier of this invisible spherical space. After the skybird was successfully activated, it breathed a sigh of relief, smiled at Wu Yu, and said, "This stone lock is called the void lock, which can lock the space inside. Wu Yu, no matter what, you can't get out. Unless you defeat me, the void lock can be broken." "What's so difficult about defeating you?" Wu Yu said with a smile, holding the golden 9-direction demon suppressing pillar on his shoulders. This posture is full of arrogance, and it is more and more similar to the peerless Monkey King. Beidou Yuxia He, Yan, brother, free to watch the following chapters without pop-ups. It's harder than going up to the sky. Yukan Niao chuckled. Just when Wu Yu was about to attack her and break the shackles of the void lock, the swamp below shook. For a moment, more than 20 figures passed through the control range of the void lock and rushed into it. These more than 20 people appeared in front of Yukan Niao one by one, protecting Yukan Niao behind them. Obviously, although the void lock controlled the surrounding space and formed an indestructible barrier, completely locking Wu Yu's possibility of escape, it was still easy for her companions to come in under the control of Yukan Niao. Wu Yu glanced over and saw more than 20 people, all of them were demons. With Yukan Niao as bait, more than 20 demons lurked in the depths of the swamp. When the void lock took effect, these more than 20 demons appeared and surrounded Wu Yu. Surrounded by demons, locked in the void? Wu Yu was a hunter before, but now he has become a prey all of a sudden. This is the interesting part of the supreme hunting ground. In fact, Wu Yu had expected that it would be impossible to collect his last 9 demon bands so easily. If it was so easy to do, then the possibility of collecting 50 demon bands should be relatively large. Obviously, when the demons know that a cultivator has almost collected all the demon bands, they will spontaneously fight a battle within the rules, but it will cause the cultivator to lose miserably. If it were someone else, he would definitely be in danger of death today, but if it were Wu Yu, he would just not die today, but in fact, there are many results that are even more terrible than death. Wu Yu, don't be nervous. We see that you challenge us one by one, which is also very troublesome. We all come here today to give you a chance to solve it all at once. You only need 9 demon bands, so our more than 20 brothers are indeed enough for you. Our time is more precious, so we won't talk too much nonsense. Brothers and sisters, who will accompany Wu Yu to practice first? One of the long-haired red-clothed demons said. Among them, except for the flying bird, who was protected and had to control the void lock to prevent Wu Yu from escaping, everyone else could fight Wu Yu. Of course, according to the rules of the supreme hunting ground, they would not besiege Wu Yu, as the law enforcers would stop them. However, their ruthless strategy of using the void lock to prevent Wu Yu from escaping in a round-robin manner did cause great trouble to Wu Yu. If it were not Wu Yu, but other cultivators, they would have been attacked by more than 9 demons in succession today and would have died without a doubt. If the cultivators could easily win, they would be sent directly to hunting ground number 7, because if they could easily win, it obviously meant that they did not belong to hunting ground number 6. No wonder not many people have gathered 50 demon bands, and the cultivators are not very motivated. Obviously, they understand that, first, the demons will not let them gather 50, and second, even if they gather enough, it is unlikely that they can leave alive. Wu Yu thought of Xuanhuan Wu, and he had no hope at all. At this moment, Wu Yu, alone, faced more than 20 demons of the 8th level of the Demon Pill Realm, which was equivalent to the 8th level of the Golden Pill Realm. However, his face was cold and his eyes were like torches. In terms of momentum, he was not inferior to so many people. Well, isn't it just more than 20 people? In my eyes, you are all garbage that sent me the demon ban. Wu Yu's golden eyes swept over the demons. What a big tone, I will take the lead. Among the demons, a strong man in human form suddenly rushed out. In the process of rushing out, the dark-skinned man suddenly let out a shocking roar. He bowed forward and dropped his hands. In this process, he suddenly transformed from a human form into a black giant bull. The giant bull had knotted muscles all over his body, blood lines all over his body, and a pair of sharp horns on his head that were bent forward, showing its sharp edge. From the thick nostrils, a thick white mist was exhaled. This is the spirit of the blood-horned ox. It has brute strength, surging elixir energy, and many ancestral demon skills. It is a relatively powerful type among the 8th level demon elixir. Now it is transformed into a demon body. The 4 legs were running through the void, rushing towards Wu Yu like an arrow from a string. The force was extremely terrifying. On its horns, streaks of cold light flashed, and there were faint bloody symbols, such as it is wrapped around its horns like a demon snake, which is obviously a kind of demonic method. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. At the moment when the bloodhorn ox charged forward, Wu Yu held the 9 directions demon suppressing pillar with one hand. It shook slightly. In an instant, he rioted. His body swung the 9 directions demon suppressing pillar with great force and collided with the bloodhorn ox. Everyone did not expect that under such circumstances, Wu Yu still maintained a high level of fighting spirit, as if he did not pay attention to the powerful monsters around him. Bang! The bloodhorns collided with the Jufang demonic suppression pillar. In a rough duel of strength, Wu Yu smashed the bloodhorns into the mud with a stick, and then he quickly chased in. For a moment, the swamp below roared and exploded, and countless mud rose into the sky, but was locked in the transparent void lock space. When the mud splashed away and stuck to the inner surface of the void lock space, can really see its outline. At this moment, the mud exploded, and the entire void lock was trembling. It was obvious that the battle between Wu Yu and the bloodhorn ox had reached the boundary of the void lock. Several impacts made Yukan Niao frown slightly, and he became more powerful, stabilizing the void lock. This battle is really violent. Although the bloodhorn ox relies on brute strength as its basis for combat power, in a head-on collision, not many demons will be its opponents. Just as he finished speaking, there was a sudden scream in the mud below, and suddenly, a huge black cow hit him, covered in blood, and the huge body was almost deformed. Wu Yu suddenly appeared next to it, the 9-direction demon suppressing pillar in his hand suddenly turned into 9. At that moment, the 9 direction demon suppressing pillars hit the blood-horned cow one by one, with 9 consecutive explosions. The blood-horned cow howled, snap. It fell onto the swamp with a loud sound, causing mud to fill the sky. Whoosh! Wu Yu rushed down, used the 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar to provoke the demon ban on the blood-horned ox, put it into the bag of Sumuru, then stepped on the blood-horned ox, wiped away the blood from the fight with the blood-horned ox from the corner of his mouth, and lifted it up. At first, he looked at the sky with a solemn gaze, and showed a tough and cold smile at the corner of his mouth, saying, "This idiot has done it, who is next? Come out quickly, don't keep me waiting." This kind of arrogance made the demons feel extremely aggrieved. Anger boiled in their chests. They originally planned to play tricks on Wu Yu, but they didn't expect the other party to be so stubborn. Instead, they were suppressed by Wu Yu. There were more than 20 of them. How can you swallow this breath? Of course, it was precisely because Wu Yu tortured too many demons that they couldn't swallow their bad breath, so they got together and prepared to destroy Wu Yu, at least terminate the progress of Wu Yu's ban on seizing demons, and let him rest for a few years. Now, several people are going to fight. They knew that Wu Yu's real combat power was already quite strong after fighting to this day, especially his physical attack, defense, speed, and recovery power were all rare in the world. Therefore, Wu Yu would definitely be suppressed in the first battle, but the problem was that they were in a non-stop will battle, and everyone is at the same level. It is impossible for Wu Yu to maintain this advantage in the subsequent battles. In fact, they could see that Wu Yu was already slightly injured just from dealing with the bloodhorn ox. They just couldn't tolerate Wu Yu's contemptuous look towards them. He is obviously prey, so what right does he have to be arrogant? Regarding the second person to fight, because there were too many people to take action, they carefully considered it, and finally selected the one who was most likely to overwhelm Wu Yu in one go and entered the field. Before he could say anything, Wu Yu smashed the 9 directions demonic suppression pillar. "You are the 43rd, Wu Yuna laughed wildly, which immediately made the demon angry and transformed directly into its true form. It turned out to be a dragon. Although it was not a real dragon, it was said that it had the blood of a dragon and could turn clouds and rain. He fell into the mire and took to the water like a fish. He almost blended into the mire. It was difficult for Wu Yu to find him. Whoosh! However, he was still so stubborn that he rushed into the mud without saying a word. The 9 directions demon suppressing pillar in his hand suddenly became thicker, more than 20 feet long, and was thrust into the mud, and then rolled violently. This is the real overwhelming. /U003 sem /U003e /U003 sem /U003 follow the official QQ public account, ID, love, read it early, and keep abreast of the latest information /U003c/m /U003e /U003c/m /U003e. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 297. In the Void Lock, the royal skybird controlled the sealed space. It was attacked by Wu Yu and demons several times, and there were several violent turmoils. However, the royal skybird gritted its teeth and the void lock did not move at all. The more than 20 demons inside looked at the violent movement below, and they all looked at each other. Wu Yu was still so fierce in the second battle, which was actually somewhat beyond their expectations. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. In the mud, golden light burst out, and there seemed to be 2 supergiant beasts fighting beneath it, especially the dragon rolling and turning over the river, emerging from the mud from time to time, but then quickly plunging in. Boom! Less than a quarter of an hour passed, and suddenly, a golden figure rushed out of the mud. From the moment he rushed out, the space within the void lock finally stabilized. When everyone took a look, they saw that the golden figure was Wu Yu, who was breathing heavily. There were many blood marks on his body at this moment, and the dark power of the dragon was still entangled in his body, making him seem a little weak. However, what people saw faster was that he was holding a figure in his hand. At this time, he threw the figure towards the demons. It was the dragon demon from before. At this time, the dragon had transformed into a human form. It was pale white and had many cracks on its body, which had been directly smashed. Looking at its body, it was limp and dying. It was obvious that all the bones in its body had been broken. In this situation, even if he is a monk, he is a demon, and he is seriously injured. He will not be able to recover without a certain amount of time. The dragon is defeated. Everyone looked at Wu Yu again, and saw that although he was also very embarrassed, his eyes were unruly, his expression was stern, and he had a relaxed smile on his lips. He waved the demon ban in his hand and said, "Thank you for coming up with this method, which saved me from having to do it. I'm afraid it will take a lot of time to find you one by one. This is the 43rd hunting ground. There is no one who can hunt. Enter the subtitle URL. His whole body was stained with blood and his eyes were golden. Wu Yu was carrying the 9 directions suppressing demon pillar like a dragon among men. His stern and domineering expression showed his sharp edge, which made the demons present feel extremely aggrieved, as if they had been severely slapped in the face. They originally wanted to use the Supreme Hunting Grounds practice to prevent Wu Yu from continuing to obtain the demon ban, but they didn't know that they were insulted by Wu Yu. The demons were furious. If they hadn't abided by the rules of the Supreme Hunting Ground, they would have attacked in groups at this time. Everyone wanted to take action. In fact, the strength of each demon was not too far apart, otherwise they would have gone to hunting ground number 7. Went. Wu Yu, don't be arrogant, wait until I come to cure you. Many demons like to occupy mountains and become kings, so they like to call themselves kings. Let me come. If you don't dare to make a move, I will send this rude person to the west. The demons started making noises, filled with righteous indignation, and released their demonic aura into the sky. These demonic auras were locked in the void lock and could not escape. They condensed into entities, causing a thick gray fog to appear in the void lock, which directly obscured Wu Yu's body. Vision. These evil spirits have no effect on the demons, but to Wu Yu, he is like a sheep walking into a forest with a large number of wolves, tigers, and leopards, and there are strong murderous intentions of aliens everywhere. However, this did not scare Wu Yu, but instead stimulated Wu Yu's fierce fighting spirit at this moment. He was like ignited explosives, his whole body was burning, his energy and blood surged, and the golden fire appeared in his heart again. The unparalleled Monkey King in armor, fierce and proud, looking down at the world, with a roar and a glare, all things in the world surrendered, and the universe retreated. It doesn't matter who goes up, but none of you can get out of here today, Wu Yu's voice echoed in the void lock. What a loud tone. You keep talking even when you are about to die? The human race is indeed a show-off. Brothers and sisters, please let me go up and teach this poor man a lesson. Finally, they made a decision among themselves, and another one came out. Although they came in large numbers, it was a will battle after all, so Wu Yu was allowed to defeat 1 or 2 people at most. If the third person was defeated again, and it was in a will battle, it would be too embarrassing for the demon clan. Boom! When the man stood out from the crowd and was about to speak out to suppress Wu Yu unexpectedly took action faster than him. Without saying a word, the Zhifang demonic suppression pillar pressed forward and started a new round of fierce battle. Buzz! The void lock shook again. This time the demon was a flying bird. Wu Yu fought with it with his sword, and from time to time he used the sword to practice Taoism. This battle is even more brutal. At the beginning, Wu Yu was completely at a disadvantage. He was suppressed by the demon and faced numerous dangers. The demons applauded one after another, but just as they applauded, they discovered that Wu Yu's spirit, will, fighting spirit, and resilience were simply terrifyingly strong. Like an invincible being, he can get up as long as he is not immobile. Not only can he get up, but he can also fight back even more fiercely. Golden elixir, human elixir combined into one? After drawing so many magic circles, tempering the golden elixir for so long, and refining so many elixirs, that feeling seems to be very close. Although Wu Yu was fighting, his blood was gushing out, and he was always on the verge of death, but in every car battle, he never forgot the problem that had been bothering him for a long time. His cultivation time was too short. It would take others several years before they could realize the realm of the unity of human and elixir. He had only spent more than a year now. Tao is hidden between life and death. The more dangerous the moment, the stronger the feeling in Wu Yu's heart. He knew that he had many battles to fight today. In the third game, we must not fall. If you fall down now, you will have failed. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. I can't stay here for too long. I must go back to Xuanhuan. Wire must leave the Xuanhuan Samsara cave, and I have missed my appointment. I wish to be with you in the double immortal palace. She is missing and is living and dying. If she hears the news, she will definitely be heartbroken. Furthermore, as long as he becomes a Huangjian level disciple, he can return to Dongyu Kingdom to have a look. Wu Yu has not been back for so long, and Wu Yu is worried about Wu Yu, Feng Shuiya, and Su Yanli. All of this is due to his courage to fight to the death here and risk his life several times. In Wu Yu's world, it was like a sea of blood rolling in front of him, and the huge demon covered the sky and the sun. Wu Yu held the 9-direction demon suppressing pillar, and his eyes burst with golden light, burning the demon. Roll. A stick shot into the sky, breaking through the boundary in all directions, stabbing the flying bird into the void lock, causing him to faint immediately. Wu Yu quickly rushed forward, first snatching the demon's ban, and then ignored the demon and allowed it to hit the swamp, causing thousands of muds to rise. The third one. Looking at Wu Yu again, his body was covered with scars, but he was still extremely enthusiastic. His violent eyes were more like a giant beast. Looking at the demons again, they already felt a sense of awe and fear in their hearts. Monster. Although they were monsters, they were still shocked by Wu Yu's incredible vitality. When Wu Yu defeated the third person, some of them even doubted which person could defeat this person who seemed to be defeated, but yet always counter-suppressing the opponent in the late stages of the battle. The fourth. The fifth one. Next, the awe and fear in the hearts of the demons gradually deepened. When Wu Yu was covered in blood and roaring, he defeated the fifth demon Night-Walking Tiger from the 8th level of Demon Pill and took the 46th demon ban. There was no longer a look of ridicule on the demon's face. They looked at Wu Yu blankly. For a moment, no one was as active as before. They could indeed see that Wu Yu was not so incredible in terms of strength, but his will was really trembling, especially the terrifying body that could not be beaten to death. Demons are famous for their bodies, and they can crush ascetics at the same level, but when they met Wu Yu, their bodies were as fragile as babies. This is why Wu Yu's Dan Yuan was far inferior to them, but he defeated 5 people in a row. Who else is there? Wu Yu's 9-direction demon suppressing pillar pointed at the dozen or so demons left in front of him. The rest were severely injured and left first. With only 4 left, Wu Yu had completed his goal, so at this moment he was more excited than anyone else. Even though his body was more seriously injured than ever before, and several monsters had left bone-deep wounds on his body, he ignored them and disappeared. In this supreme hunting ground, nothing is more important to Wu Yu than being able to go back. After all, he is the prey in this supreme hunting ground. Wu Yu, don't bully others too much. Another demon came up to attack, with a ferocious face. Wu Yu had to say that every demon here was very powerful, on par with him, especially many of the magical powers that almost killed Wu Yu, such as the nightmare eyes of the night tiger. However, when Wu Yu defeated 5 people in a row and was invincible, the demons, at least in their hearts, had been suppressed by Wu Yu. When encountering each other on a narrow road, the brave will win. Wu Yu used a life-threatening style of play. When his elixir was very depleted, he relied purely on his physical body to defeat the 6th opponent. At this point, he only needed to win 3 more demon bans. Get out of here. After another victory in the city, Wu Yuji's will to fight and the strong belief in his heart almost reached its peak, swelling to the point of sweeping through the void lock, blocking so many evil spirits with one person's power. If this matter were to be spread, it would be extremely heroic and would be passed down through the ages. Matter. When there were 3 demon bands left, the demons hesitated. For a while, it seemed that no one wanted to be the target of Wu Yu's remaining 3 demon bands. In these 6 battles, every time they felt that Wu Yu could not hold on any longer, but at the last moment, Wu Yu still shocked them with the reality of victory and defeat. Even though Wu Yu was flying unsteadily in the sky, the 7th demon still hasn't come forward. Their faces turned slightly pale. Wu Yu smiled. He could just take advantage of the opportunity to rest for a while, but his will to fight could not be broken. He looked around and said loudly, "There are no demons in the entire hunting ground number 6. Do you dare to fight with me, Wu Yu? You guys are fighting on wheels. Ah, you don't have any courage at all." His laughter was naturally very harsh to the demon. "How about I come and meet you?" Suddenly, a thick voice came from outside the void lock. /U003 sem /U003e /U003 sem /U003 Follow the official QQ public account, ID, love, read it early, and keep abreast of the latest information /U003c /m /U003e /U003c /m /U003e. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 298. As soon as this voice sounded, Wu Yu had an ominous premonition. However, the demons showed relaxed smiles. Looking at Wu Yu's eyes, they finally had some confidence and even felt a sense of gloating. Buzz. At this moment, the entire void lock trembled. Wu Yu looked up and saw that the visitor had arrived outside the void lock and was standing on the barrier outside the void lock. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Yukan Niao excitedly opened that part of the space and let the visitor float down. When Wu Yu saw this person, he knew that his path to the 50 demon bands would be cut off at this moment, and he would miss the remaining 3 demon bands. This demon is now in human form. It has its hands behind its back and is very tall. It has short golden hair and blue pupils with rippling water. It is dressed in cloth and looks like a young man. It is obvious that he has not been practicing for a long time. But a demon with a high level of blood. It's the Golden Stone Monkey. I heard that he has been looking for Wu Yu for a long time, but we have never found him. Unexpectedly, he heard the noise and arrived by himself. It's good now. With him here, there will definitely be no problem. If it weren't for Wu Yu, the Golden Stone Monkey would have gone to hunting ground number 7 or even hunting ground no 8. Nonsense, the bloodline of the Golden Stone Monkey is already stronger than ours, not to mention that his current state is still at the 9th level of the demonic pill. That's right, this is the only terrifying demon from the 9th level of the demon core that Wu Yu has seen in hunting ground number 6. It is excellent in every aspect, although there are many in this supreme hunting ground that are stronger than this Golden and Stone Monkey existence, but in this hunting ground number 6, there is no doubt that he is the overlord. The chapter of has been uploaded. Wu Yu had an impression of apes and monsters, and there was only one kind of ghost-faced ape. When he first saw this Golden and Stone Monkey, there was still a familiar feeling in his blood, but to be honest, this Golden and Stone Spirit Monkey in front of him monkey is indeed full of hostility towards it. Wu Yu heard that the Golden Stone Monkey was looking for him. What does he want to do? The other party had his hands behind his back and his toes rested on the mud, as if he were floating on the mud. He looked at Wu Yu, moved his lips and said, I heard that you are Zhu friend. You have become extremely powerful recently, and you can also transform into a human being. I've long wanted to see what your golden ape's body looks like. Obviously, the latter paragraph is the real reason why he is looking for Wu Yu. Must be curious. So after seeing Wu Yu, the gold and stone monkeys felt a little like the same kind, but in fact, one of them was a demon and the other was a human. The demonic pill 9th level has suppressed 5 realms of Wu Yu in terms of elixir. This is already considered extremely high. Even if the nature of Wu Yu's elixir can reach 1 realm, the golden body of Nanwu Baya King Buddha cannot hold up to 4. There is a huge gap in levels of alchemy. How are you doing? At the moment of success, encountering such a blocking existence is really worrying. The aura of this golden stone monkey is so powerful that the demons behind it dare not say a word. Obviously it is also because of its strength. Talent exceeds them, and status and background also exceed them. The golden stone spirit monkey smiled faintly and said, I was watching for a while just now. You were very arrogant and said that there was no opponent for you in hunting ground number 6. Then I naturally came in to explain to you that there are people outside the world and there are mountains outside the mountains. You, Wu Yu, want to dominate and insult our demon clan, and you are a lot more naive. Although you are Zhu Ying's friend, Zhu Ying has been busy with himself lately, so I don't need to be polite to you. Your 48th demon ban is here with me. Do you have the courage to come and get it? He stretched out his hand, and there was a demon prohibition hanging inside. Immediately, he immediately packed up and stepped in the mud, approaching Wu Yu step by step. Naturally, the other demons protected the sky bird and retreated to a corner of the void lock. Their eyes showed excitement. Now that he realized what he was doing, he really felt that Wu Yu had suppressed him too hard just now. Now he couldn't help but feel a little ashamed and began to curse. This Wu Yu has no ability, but he has a very loud tone. I also boasted about Haikao. Now I met the golden stone monkey. With the golden stone monkey's violent temper, it will be easier for him. Do you think the golden stone spirit monkey will kill him? After all, the golden stone spirit monkey's father also has a very high status. It is said that he is a general under the Xuanhuan. Although the Xuanhuan is under the infant emperor, these in this year, if there is momentum to challenge the power of the infant emperor, this golden stone monkey may not dare to do so. Just do it. The infant emperor is terrifying and I am in awe of him, but his son Zhu is really incompetent. He has disgraced my demon race and is still friends with the human race. He is cowardly by nature. He might not even be as good as the golden stone spirit monkey. Forget it, it's better not to discuss this matter randomly. It has nothing to do with us now anyway. Just look at it. The attack of the golden stone spirit monkey has never been serious. No matter what, Wu Yu must have been miserable. This guy is really capable. He almost got 50 demon bands. It is said that the law enforcer of the number 1 hunting ground, Zuyu Dog, even followed him. I bet that if he raises enough 50, I will send him away from Yunmangai. Haha, my dream of going home is over. In Wu Yu's eyes, the golden stone monkey was very slow. He was not in a hurry. When he approached Wu Yu, he was also sizing him up. I admire this kind of physical body, but the realm is too low, which is your biggest weakness. You must be good at body training, but you are very stupid along the way of cultivating Taoism. You are not even as good as an ordinary Shushan disciple, Jinshi Linghao stole. Smiled. Wu Yu was too lazy to argue with him. He had only one option, fight. Under the void lock, he had no chance to escape. However, he has really never faced a master equal to the 9th level of Jindan. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. At this moment, Wu Yu abandoned everything and only remembered one thing, that is, he must defeat the golden stone monkey at all costs. Even such an opponent did not interrupt his determination to return home. Zhifangjian Demonic Pillar. Immortal Ape Transformation. In front of the golden stone monkey, his body gradually grew taller and stronger, and in the blink of an eye, he transformed into the more violent golden immortal ape. Coupled with the 9-direction demon-suppressing pillar, Wu Yu at this moment was in his true peak state. The domineering, violent, and scornful auras swept away and raised it to a new level, especially in terms of the physical body. Namo Precious Moon King Buddha's golden body. Yes, interesting. The golden stone spirit monkey looked at it carefully, with blazing eyes. At the same time, he also transformed from a human form into a demon body. This process was very similar to Wu Yu's immortal ape transformation process, but the transformed body was different from the original body. Wu Yu is twice as tall and twice as strong. He is also an ape with golden hair, more majestic and violent, and has a pair of blue eyes. The body of the golden stone monkey is like gold, flowing with golden light. Although its eyes are blue, they are even more fierce. The sharp claws, fangs, flesh and blood, and the extremely powerful 9 heavens Pilun are just like an enlarged version of Wu Yu. Of course, in terms of strength, it also seems to be an enlarged version. Wu Yu is very similar to the golden stone monkey. It's very much like the same species, one is a child and the other is an adult. This is also the most intuitive difference between the two. Wu Yu, it's not bad. The golden stone monkey looked stern. In the blink of an eye, the overwhelming pressure was suppressed. Qinjun stick, the gold and stone monkey suddenly roared, and a psychic magic weapon appeared from nowhere, appeared in his hand, and instantly turned into a golden stick similar to his height in his hand. It changes between left and right hands. Demons also use psychic weapons, but relatively rarely. That Qinjun rod has many magic formations on it. The most obvious thing is that its two ends are not smooth, but have protruding pointed cones, which are glowing with golden light. You can tell at a glance that they are extremely sharp. Buzz. Thousands of powerful sticks swept across, and countless mud turned into huge waves, sweeping towards Wu Yu, and the golden stone monkey was hidden in the monstrous mud. As soon as the battle started, Wu Yu felt the murderous intent in the opponent's eyes. If there are no exceptions, this golden stone monkey is murderous towards him. Wu Yu immediately understood that not only would it be difficult to return to Xuanhuan today, but he would even have to die here. It was a problem before, but now it is a dead end. Even the demons around him did not expect that someone would really want to kill Wu Yu today. Bang! The golden stick was in the hands of the golden and stone monkey, and the stick shadow was heavy. He was very skilled, and the monkey's face showed a very humane smile. Broken Thorn I saw the gold and stone monkey tapping the Qinjun stick a few times. On the Qinjun stick, its sharp parts shone with more dazzling light. For a time, the light was so bright that it obscured many people's eyes. In sight, the 1000 June rod seemed to have transformed into the core of the entire world in an instant, and the pointed cone almost transformed from a stick into a mace under the change of the demonic magic. That's not all. The golden stone monkey had many killing moves. The moment it approached Wu Yu, it suddenly opened its mouth and let out a roar that shook the world. Anyone who is familiar with the golden monkey knows that this demonic technique is the golden monkey roar. A roar has explosive penetrating power. Of these two magical techniques, the first one shocked Wu Yu's sight, and the second one, there was a roar in Wu Yu's ears, as if there was an extremely violent explosion in his ears. He almost lost his hearing and vision for a while, and the only thing left was probably the feeling of death. The golden stone spirit monkey obviously had a much higher elixir, but he was still fighting with this method without any mercy. He clearly wanted to take Wu Yu's life. The next moment, many fatal crises loomed over him, as if they were all in all directions. As long as he made a mistake, he might be the real death. At this point, Wu Yu was under unbelievable pressure of death. When Wu Yu discovered that his way to leave was completely blocked and that the golden stone monkey was so ruthless, he felt extremely angry and had a terrible rebellious heart. This rebellious heart spread from the inside out. At this moment, madness broke out. In Wu Yu's eyes, the golden stone monkey was no longer scary. No matter how powerful the opponent was, as long as he was fighting head-on, how could he not be able to defeat him? /U003 sem /U003e /U003 sem /U003 follow the official QQ public account, ID, love, read early, and keep abreast of the latest information /U003c/m /U003e /U003c/m /U003e. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 299. Chapter 298 Stone Hell. In all the previous battles, Wu Yu suppressed himself to a certain extent and did not release the most violent beast in his chest. But at this moment, when facing the golden monkey, the opponent used absolute suppression and exceeded his large amount of Dan Yuan. Not even the golden body of Namo Baya King Buddha could make up for the gap. Coupled with the deafening roar of the golden monkey, for a moment, the 1,000-strong stick hit the top of the head like the blazing sun setting from the sky. The golden stone monkey was indeed powerful, and Wu Yu seemed to see a similar oppressive force to himself in it. Buzz. At this moment, both heaven and earth are trembling. Wu Yu held the 9 directions demon suppressing pillar in his hand. Facing the powerful stick, the 9 directions demon suppressing pillar also wanted to compete for supremacy. Under the urging of Wu Yu's Dan Yuan, it kept making bursts of roars. Violence. In the light of the carbide fire, the art of change that Wu Yu had not used for more than a year appeared again. This art of change caused Wu Yu's flesh and blood to change, especially his arms, which were thicker and thicker, with golden markings on them. The muscles and veins bulge, revealing ferocious power, as if there are endless giant beasts hidden in this flesh and blood. Zhu Fang breaks the boundary. There was a loud buzzing sound, and under the urging of the violent technique and the immortal ape transformation, the 9-party boundary-breaking formation was activated again. A will to break wrapped around the 9-party demon-suppressing pillar. When Wu Yu swung his stick, the moment it swept across the sky, the power of this magic weapon array surged out. In an instant, the Qinjun cudgel and the Zhufang demonic suppression pillar engaged in a collision that shook hunting ground number 6. Bang! There was a loud noise, and the sound was louder than the golden monkey's roar, and it was truly deafening. At that moment, people couldn't even see anything clearly. The golden light was dazzling, completely blocking their sight. Those golden lights pierced their bodies, and even monsters would feel tingling all over their bodies. Bang bang! 2 sounds in a row, and then a scream from the royal air bird. It turned out that 2 things hit the barriers on the left and right of the void lock, causing a lot of pressure on the void lock. When the light dimmed instantly, everyone took a closer look and found that the golden stone monkey and Wu Yu were bumped into each other on the left and right sides respectively. The golden stone monkey was completely stunned and looked at Wu Yu in astonishment. There were some faint cracks all over his body. Obviously in this duel, he did not crush Wu Yu, he won directly, killed Wu Yu, and even himself was slightly injured. Moreover, this was the confrontation between the two after Wu Yu had engaged in 6 consecutive brutal will battles. On the other hand, although Wu Yu's situation was not better than that of the golden stone monkey, and his arm was even more severely broken, at least he was not defeated. This performance immediately made the demons understand that Wu Yu was tougher than they imagined. Will be difficult to defeat. In this void lock, the golden stone monkey and the immortal ape transformed Wu Yu were breathing heavily after a confrontation. The golden stone spirit monkey lowered his head slightly and stared at Wu Yu with squinted eyes. The light in his eyes became even more fierce. He spat some saliva and said in a cold voice, "I can't tell. You also have some hidden skills in pressing boxes. That move just now, it kind of means a forbidden Taoist technique for your human race, it should be a forbidden Taoist technique. However, you can only use this kind of Taoist technique once at most. Wu Yu, I think you are no longer good." Only then did everyone realize that the truth was like this. They were frightened by Wu Yu's heroic performance before. It turns out this is a forbidden Taoist technique. So, he will be miserable next. Wu Yu was holding the Zhufang demon suppressing pillar, and his arm seemed a little weak. The golden stone monkey was indeed right. The violent technique was very similar to the forbidden Taoist technique, but the power was more terrifying, and the reaction was not too strong. However, not even violent techniques could defeat the golden stone monkey, and Wu Yu was now in a very dangerous situation. Phew! The golden stone monkey crossed the void and stepped lightly on the swamp. Every time he stepped on it, a large swamp was invisibly sunk. When he raised his head again, he sneered, "Zhu Ying, this loser, has found a human race as a friend. He is really the first joke in my Yunmengai Si. You are not Zhu Ying's opponent, why would you tell such a joke and show your jealousy towards him?" Wu Yu asked back. "I'm not his opponent. For such a coward, even if I stand in front of him, he dares to attack me," the golden stone monkey sneered again with disdain. Because he was compared with Wu Yu, he was obviously very unhappy, and his eyes became more ferocious, saying, "I heard that Zhu Ying cares about you. If I kill you, do you think he will hate me? It's a pity, I don't be afraid of this trash." The golden stone monkey is indeed an extremely ferocious beast. As soon as he said these words, he took action directly. He didn't have much patience with Wu Yu. Just now he was preparing to kill with one strike. Now Wu Yu even realized that he might be use your natal magic power. Sure enough, at that moment, the golden stone monkey's entire body turned directly into metal, and even its hair turned into golden spikes, making its entire body look like it was made of gold. All the demons quickly retreated, all shocked. He's afraid he's going to use gold and stone hell. When this magical power is unleashed, Wu Yu is really going to be killed. The Golden Stone Hell of the Golden Stone Monkey clan is famous all over the world. I didn't expect us to see it. This is also a lucky thing in life. As soon as they finished speaking, the Golden Stone Spirit Monkey let go and waved the 1000 June stick, with one end slightly facing Wu Yu's direction. In an instant, Wu Yu could not avoid it and directly received a kind of natal magical power. This natal magical power was advanced. The point is that when it is used, there is no way to dodge it. Instantly, Wu Yu felt something strange in his chest. A force appeared invisibly, climbing up his chest and spreading rapidly around. At that moment, when Wu Yu looked down, he was shocked to find that a large area of his chest, not only the skin, but also the internal organs, were being invaded by the innate magical power of the Golden Stone Monkey, and directly transformed from flesh and blood into the same metal as the Golden Stone Monkey. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Wu Yu was shocked. There are magical powers in the world, so powerful. The demon is worthy of being the ancestor who created the innate magical power and passed it down. Moreover, the speed of the spread of this golden stone hell was so fast that in just a moment, while Wu Yu was still thinking about how to get rid of it, the metallization of his body could no longer be reversed in an instant. His arms and legs had completely turned into metal for Wu Yu, his body seemed to be frozen in a huge metal ball, so he could not move. Even all the meridians and acupoints in his body, especially the Qi Hai appointment, and even the golden elixir, were filled and occupied by metal. He could not move at all, and even the simplest operation of Dan Yuan could not be done. And the next moment, naturally, his head also turned into metal, and the whole person became the same as the Golden Stone Monkey, as if he had been assimilated. The difference was that the Golden Stone Monkey moved freely, but Wu Yu could not move at all. Up to this moment, he could not do anything else except thinking, and even blinking was impossible. Even his eyelids seemed to be fixed by a force of billions of pounds. This is the Golden Stone Hell. The world Wu Yu saw was like being in hell. Except for him, the whole world was surrounded by steel. To outsiders, it seemed that he was completely transformed into steel. I seem to have one more work of art. Very lifelike. The laughter of the Golden Stone Monkey gradually approached from a distance. Wu Yu could not see him, and in fact, he could not hear the sound. The reason why he knew what he was saying was probably because of his spirit or the perception of the soul to the outside world. Wu Yu was not familiar with this soul's will. It was estimated that the legendary Yuan Shen Huaxing realm was the real one to perceive its existence. A dark world with only metal. Bang! Wu Yu roughly felt that the Golden Stone Monkey took out Wu Yu's head with its big palm, like holding a small marble, and showed it to everyone, saying, "Please take a look, this is Wu Yu who gave you a headache. After being hit by my Golden Stone Hell, he is no different from a dead person, but the interesting thing is that within about an hour, he still maintains consciousness, unless I twist his head off." You think, at this moment, when Wu Yu hears me say this, how panicked, scared, terrified. The Golden Stone Monkey held Wu Yu in his hand and laughed wantonly. "Golden Stone Monkey, you don't really want to kill him, do you? You know, he is. Don't talk nonsense to me. What is he? All human races are enemies of our demon race. For countless generations, how many of our compatriots have human races killed? You can forget that this is the hunting ground of our demon race. No human race can enjoy different treatment in our demon race's territory. I just want to let Wu Yu know that he is just a prey. He can hear everything I say. Wu Yu can indeed hear everything. However, he is not as panicked or frightened as the Golden Stone Monkey said. In fact, he is very peaceful in his heart. The Golden Stone Hell is a wonderful realm, as if he is standing outside of his own perspective and looking at his own life and death. He once entered the Heart Sword prison, which was also a quiet world, but it was far less calm than Wu Yu at this moment, as if he was alone and everything in the world had nothing to do with him. Perhaps this perspective can allow him to examine his own existence more clearly. In his imagination, his whole body turned into metal at this moment, and the nine-sided demon-suppressing pillar was still in his hand. The golden stone monkey played with him in his hand, like a toy, and even laughed at him at will. The other demons echoed and smiled. Life and death are not up to us. As the saying goes, life and death are determined by fate, and wealth and honor are in the hands of God. Since ancient times, most people have believed in this. Most people in the world are played with in their hands like this. For me, the golden stone monkey is the fate itself at this moment. However, there are always people who break their fate, people who break the situation, transcend all worlds, live in their own way, and are immortal. I, Wu Yu, am willing to be such a person, go against the will of heaven, and live forever. The words from the Monkey King seem to appear in his heart again. I am the Monkey King of the Heavenly Palace Fairyland, and the Fighting Buddha of the Heavenly Buddha Fairyland. Those who are destined to be with me will inherit my mantle, go against the will of heaven, and destroy the world. Go against the will of heaven and destroy the world. In one sentence, Wu Yu found himself, and also found the so-called unity of man and elixir. Elixir is the collection of Tao, and the unity of man and elixir is the unity of man and Tao. I have been learning to drive recently, and I will take the third test in a few days, so I have been practicing driving during the day these days, and strive to pass it in one go. Therefore, the updates in the past few days have been a bit unstable and the number is small. I wrote a total of 1 chapter tonight. I owe 2 chapters. I owe 5 chapters in total. I will update it directly after passing the third test. Please look forward to it. Spread flowers. I am 24 years old and still can't drive. It is really embarrassing, he mobile phone users. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 300. For Wu Yu, the state of unity of human and elixir that the ancestors have always said is to find oneself. This is actually the most important basic step in the spiritual path of spiritual cultivation, but countless predecessors in the spiritual world cannot explain it clearly, because it is useless to talk about such breakthroughs in the spiritual path. And, it varies from person to person. Words cannot describe this wonderful feeling. If it were that easy, everyone could become an immortal. Wu Yu was trapped in the metal and stone hell, being played around by the metal and stone monkeys, but his mind seemed to fly out of his body, and he saw himself struggling, unyielding, and unwilling to face fate, or the catastrophe of time. This figure somewhat overlaps with the unparalleled Monkey King in the Golden Fire. It is similar, but there are differences. The unparalleled Monkey King was more violent and pure, but Wu Yu had a little more of his own human side and his own thinking. Self. From the heart. In fact, after more than a year of hard training, Wu Yu's golden elixir has already been tempered to the critical point of the golden elixir Dao realm. What he lacks is a little bit of Tao integrated into the golden elixir. That little bit of Tao, that little bit of insight, is like a catalyst. When it is added to the golden elixir, suddenly, the golden elixir undergoes a huge change from the very inside. The golden elixir was originally frozen by the golden stone hell, but when it underwent a transformation, even the golden stone hell could not contain this change. In an instant, everything roared, and Wu Yu's divine body was like a bomb that exploded. From the innermost core, when the golden elixir changed, it swept through the whole body, and the suppressed power suddenly burst out like never before. Buzz. At that moment, the entire pure white golden elixir seemed to explode into white smoke, but it condensed together in a very short moment. Not only did its volume not increase, but it actually decreased, to less than half of its previous size. One can only imagine how much the Jindan stared at him after he merged his human elixir into one and rushed to the 5th level of the golden elixir realm. Wu Yu instantly noticed that the color of the golden elixir had changed, from white to light gold. In the Ki cave, the golden elixir is suspended, very peaceful, and full of Tao connotations, as if it is similar to other light golden elixirs. Only Wu Yu knows that the quality of his and other light golden elixirs is in the sky. His light golden color is thicker than the previous white, and the highest level golden elixir like Nangong Wei is actually not as good as Wu Yu's white golden elixir. This transformation caused the Dan Yuan that had been suppressed for a long time to skyrocket. Its Dan Yuan was stronger than Wu Yu had imagined. At this moment, under the control of Wu Yu's will, the light golden Dan Yuan burst out. Coupled with Wu Yu's top-level understanding of will at this moment, and his indestructible body, he suddenly exploded. What is unimaginable is that under this violent force, the magical power of the golden stone hell was destroyed in an instant. Time faded, and Wu Yu's body began to transform from gold into flesh and blood starting from his danshan. At this time, the golden stone spirit monkey was holding Wu Yu in his hand, chatting and laughing with many demons, saying that he would take Wu Yu like this to the number 2 hunting ground and let Zhu take a good look at the artwork he created. At this moment, Wu Yu opened his golden eyes, and the golden stone monkey suddenly felt that his magical power was broken. Wu Yu, who was holding it in his hand, actually regained his flesh and blood body. In this very short moment, he faced the golden stone monkey. See. Frankly speaking, the golden stone monkey was frightened by the look in Wu Yu's eyes at this moment. But Wu Yu's next move was to slap the 9 directions demon suppressing pillar directly on his head. Immediately, the golden stone monkey let out a scream, let go of Wu Yu and flew upside down, hitting the barrier of the void lock. Look, its head is almost deformed. Of course, the golden stone monkey was only injured, and its recovery ability was very strong. After quickly taking a few pills, his sunken forehead recovered quickly. But the heart of the golden stone monkey was indeed hit hard by Wu Yu. Now, Wu Yu is bathed in the golden flames, carrying the thick 9-way demon suppressing pillar, as if he has been reborn from nirvana, his eyes with golden flames, leering, domineering, and sharp gazes, penetrating down, like gold and stone. The monkey remembered the time when Wu Yu had miraculously broken through his natal magical power and took the opportunity to severely injure him. He was actually a little awed by this look. As for the other demons, they were laughing loudly and talking to the golden stone monkey at first, praising the golden stone monkey, but now they are running away from each other, as if they have forgotten that they want to rely on will fighting, dispatch 3 or 2 people, and win Wu Yu's. Very good. Being able to break through my golden stone hell is quite capable. The golden stone spirit monkey wiped away the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Wu Yu fiercely. He raised the Qinjun staff and left the barrier of the void lock with a bang. Like a golden mountain, with the deafening roar of the golden monkey, it comes to kill again. But Wu Yu is faster than him. At that moment, the whole body felt like one body, and the higher quality light golden elixir burst out from the danshan of Ki cave. Although it was only the 5th level of the golden elixir realm, it had already surpassed most of the golden elixir realm. The 6th level of elixir has even reached the level of the ordinary 7th level. Coupled with the Namo Baya King Buddha golden body, all the power in the body instantly surges to the extreme. Holding the 9 directions suppressing demonic pillar with both hands, it fell from the sky and roared, shocking everyone. The sound even covered the roar of the golden monkey. Even if he used violent techniques, his power was not as good as before. At this moment, Wu Yu was the same as before. There's no way he can compare. Boom boom boom. 2 golden apes, in this void lock, collided and killed continuously. Qinjun Cudgel and Zhufang demon suppressing pillar each used their magical powers and collided fiercely, erupting with sound waves that almost caused the void lock to collapse. Everyone the demon turned livid with fear. He felt that Wu Yu seemed to be more violent, not just in appearance, but also in a spiritual will. It was this kind of spiritual will that made Wu Yu, who seemed smaller and weaker, possess more power than the Golden Stone Monkey. Domineering aura. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Bang! In this duel, the Golden Stone Monkey was defeated across the board. Wu Yu relied on his indestructible body to have even more terrifying defense power. He could even resist the Golden Stone Monkey's attack with his body, but the Golden Stone Monkey could not. But after the Golden Stone Hell was cracked by Wu Yu, although he cast many demonic spells, many of which were terrifyingly powerful, Wu Yu violently broke them one by one. In the end, Wu Yu hit him with 3 sticks one after another, causing the Golden Stone Monkey to be covered in blood, all bones broken, and even the spine was interrupted. 9 directions suppress demons. After hitting 3 sticks in a row, the Golden Stone Spirit Monkey screamed repeatedly, but still wanted to find a chance to make a comeback. Unfortunately, Wu Yu didn't give it a chance at all. With the support of the powerful Dan Yuan, the Zhifang suppression demonic pillar immediately divided into 9, and quickly the seed was planted next to the Golden Stone Monkey. The Golden Stone Monkey was severely injured and then suppressed and sealed, unable to move at all. Whoosh! Wu Yu rushed into the Zhifang demonic suppression pillar, with 2 more swords in his hand, one black and one white, which were the Yin and Yang Dao swords. The shadow of the sword in his hand flickered and quickly penetrated the Zhifang demonic suppression pillar. The moment the monkey was suppressed, 2 sword beams struck heavily on the Golden Stone Monkey's arms. With 2 clicks, the Golden Stone Monkey separated from its arms and blood spurted out. The originally arrogant Golden Stone Monkey suddenly started to cry and howl. They huddled together in pain and trembled all over. Wu Yu stood in front of him, using the Yin Yang Dao sword to provoke his demon ban, holding it in his hand, which meant that the battle was over. Golden Stone Monkey, I accept the 48th ban on demons with a smile. Wu Yu put away the ban on demons and smiled slightly. Of course, Wu Yu would not kill him. Firstly, there was no condition to kill him now. Secondly, he had to thank the Golden Stone Monkey for allowing him to find him at the last moment. He also wanted to thank the Golden Stone Monkey for not giving in immediately after he succeeded in the Golden Stone Hell. Break your own neck. Huh. The Golden Stone Monkey's eyes were blood red, trembling with pain, but with a hint of fear, just staring at Wu Yu. By the way, don't let these get away. I'm still too short. Wu Yu risked his life this time and survived. It was considered that he had walked through the door of hell. Now he finally escaped the death vortex and defeated the Golden Stone Monkey. He naturally knew that more important things needed to be completed next. Today, we must go all out in one go and we must not waste the opportunity. When Wu Yu provoked the Jinchi Monkey's demon ban, almost all of the dozen or so demons present were suffocated. They forgot to leave or help the Jinchi Monkey for a moment, and could only watch in shock. This scene even wiped my eyes quickly, unbelievable that this was real. Are you kidding? So, Wu Yu was in a state of despair just now. Did he have a breakthrough? It turned out to be a breakthrough in combat. This is the most difficult to find, but it is also the most valuable way. How could he be so lucky that he met? In fact, it's not because of luck, but because I have put in enough effort and thought before this. I have drawn magic circles and refined elixirs countless times in the past year, just for the moment of enlightenment today. At this moment, Wu Yu suddenly appeared in front of all the demons holding the Yin Yang Dao sword. He stared at the person in front, completely ignoring the others. Among the 2 swords in his hands, one of them, the Void Super Divine Sword, killed him directly. Go up. In less than 10 breaths, Wu Yu received the 49th demon ban. The demons were frightened by Wu Yu, and they dispersed in a panic. The key was that Yukong Bird himself was nervous. Under the nervousness, he tightened the void lock, causing many demons who wanted to break out of the barrier to bump into each other. On the barrier. Continue, don't cancel it. Wu Yu suddenly appeared in front of Yukan Niao, frightening Yukan Niao half to death. Whoosh! At this moment, Wu Yu became the hunter, and the demon became the prey. He caught up with the demon, and before the Sky Control Bird lifted the Void Lock, he obtained its demon ban. Easily, 50 demon bans are enough. Until this time, Yukong Bird completely lifted the Void Lock and directly turned into a flying bird to escape. To be on the safe side, Wu Yu even chased a demon and took the 50 first. At this point, the hunt is over. /U003 cent /U003e /U003c /sente /U003e